So, hi, today we're doing sunny day science. So we're going to talk a lot about the sun and things that we can do outside on a sunny day to learn about the science of what's shining out there, the great big old sun. First, what is the sun? It's it's a star. It really is. Now you think about stars, you go outside at night and you look up and there's these little teeny tiny points of light. But then in the daytime, you go out and you see our sun and you go, the sun's a star? It's so bright. That's because we're close to the sun. We're really a lot closer to the sun than all those other stars up there. So, and you don't think about it too much, but it's a great, big, huge, giant ball of burning and exploding gases. And it creates a whole lot of energy that makes it to Earth, that makes it possible for all life on Earth. Yeah, we take advantage of all of this, of the sun's energy to live here on Earth. So let's talk about how it gets here. It boils up from all the explosions in the sun, all that energy, and it travels through space, and it only takes about 8 minutes to get here. 8 minutes for all of those millions of miles that separate the sun and the Earth. And it's a good thing we don't live any closer or any farther away, because if we live closer, it might be too hot to live here. If we live farther away, it might be too cold. We're in just the perfect spot for our life here on Earth. So energy travels from the sun in two different forms, and probably more than that, light and heat. So the first thing we're going to talk about is light. And it's gorgeous out there today. The sun is shining, and let's see some activities and experiments that we can do with light while we're outside. So I am going to shut off my lights here in my den so that you can see some of the things that I'm going to be doing with this flashlight while we talk about light. Oh, I made it a lot darker. So the light will show up. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn my camera onto the table so that you can see. Okay, so there we have a little figure of a rabbit, and we have a lot of other things. Now, will light pass through everything? Let's find out. So I have a clear container here, and I have a cloudy container here, and I have a book, and I'm going to try to shine my flashlight through the book, and let's talk about those things. Well, now when you shine a flashlight through a clear container, what happens? It passes right through it. You can see I'm shining my flashlight right through that clear container, and I've got lots of light on my table. That's called transparent. I also have my cloudy container here. It's a little candle jar. Whoa, there you can see it. And if I shine my flashlight through that, I get much less light. It kind of glows though, but it doesn't completely let all the light through it. And that's called translucent. And then I have my book over here. One of my favorite books, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And I'm going to try to shine my flashlight through the book. Now you can see that there's my flashlight. There's the light that beams that's hitting the book, but it's not letting any light shine through on the other side. In fact, it's making a shadow. And that's called opaque. When light is blocked by an object like my book, it's opaque, and it will make shadows. Shadows are made when light can't pass through something. So that's kind of fun to know. So let's do some really fun things with shadows. Now, another little figure I have here is my little rabbit. I got him. Can you see my little rabbit? Okay, so let's play with rabbit's shadows. There he is, sitting on my table. Now, let's pretend that my flashlight is the sun. Yeah, see how the beams of light come out? All right, so let's see what we can do with rabbit's shadows. So I'm going to pretend that my sunshine is rising up in the morning. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, rising up in the morning and sunrise, and let's watch what happens to Bunny's shadow. And now the sun is getting higher in the sky and higher in the sky. Whoa, and higher in the sky as the day goes by. What is happening to Bunny's shadow? Take a look. I think it's shrinking. Now the sun is almost the highest in the sky that it could be. And Bunny's shadow is sort of hidden. It disappears. And then the shadow is going over here. Now the sun is starting to be afternoon and coming on the other side of Bunny and stretching out longer and longer and longer. Wow. So that's what happens in the daytime. Now, if you go outside today, you can be Bunny and you can watch what's happening to your shadow. Anytime you go outside and it's a sunny day, you know, stand on a sidewalk, stand on your driveway, stand on the grass, you can see where your shadow is. Is it in front of you? Is it in back of you? Is it short? Is it long? If you're standing on your driveway or your sidewalk, you could also always have somebody trace your shadow and then go outside maybe an hour later, stand in the same spot and have somebody trace that shadow again too. I could do that for Bunny. Trace his long shadow in the morning and his short shadow at midday and his long shadow on the other side as the day goes by. So that's a really fun activity that you can do outside on a sunny day. Now, let's see. We can make Bunny's shadow go in front of him and behind him. What if Bunny decide, I have a pretend tree here. It's actually a jar of salt. What if I there's the jar of salt, and there's Bunny. What happens if Bunny tries to hide behind a tree? My container of salt, here comes the sun. All we see is my fake tree's shadow. There he is, look at that. So when light is blocked by a solid object, you get shadows. Okay, so let's do some more fun things. I'm going to turn on the light for just a second. Okay, so there's Bunny. We're going to make Bunny disappear, and we're going to get out some other things that you can do outside with some of your toys. Do you have any Legos? I bet you do. I happen to have some Legos, so I made a tower of some Lego blocks like that. And I made a taller tower of some more Lego blocks like that. And a medium tower. And I am going to put my ruler, which is kind of like a straight line right here at the very end of my table. And then I am going to stand up my towers right here. Oops, so I'm going to put the medium one in the middle. And you can build towers with Legos. And then what you can do, you can set your Legos up on the sidewalk or the driveway and see how long it takes. So if you do it at noon, how long does it take to get your tower shadows to touch the ruler? So let's turn off the lights and let's see if I can get the sun to get my tower shadows to touch. You can draw a line on your sidewalk or driveway with a piece of chalk. But here we go. Oh, they're touching already. Oh my gosh. So we're shrinking. Oh! And there we go. Look at that. So if you start in the morning, and then the sun starts to make the shadows get longer and longer in the afternoon, how long does it take to get those shadows to touch your goal line, which would be my ruler here, but you could draw some chalk on your driveway. And you can also do this instead of having a goal line, you could measure how long the shadows are at different times of day. let's say, okay, let's say maybe it's a little afternoon, maybe they're only an inch long, and you could write down how long can you make your shadows. You might even need a yardstick, something longer than 12 inches. So that's a fun little game you can play with your toys. So here's another one, and this is kind of a fun art experience. So I'm going to take my Legos away for a second, and I'm going to get out just some regular blocks. Okay, and you can do this outside on your driveway or a sidewalk, and I need a cool piece of paper. So you would put a piece of paper down, and then you could get some of your blocks out. I've got a couple of different shapes. I think I have a triangle here. There we go. Let's see. Okay, I have a square, and I have a triangle, and I have one that sort of looks cool. It's got a little, looks like a little bridge. So I'm going to use just those three. And then, now you can make them as tall as you want to. I just did a double one. And then if you have some cool stuff to put on top of your blocks, oops, that doesn't show. I'll move it around a little bit. Okay, there's my bridge block. There we go. Okay, if you have some other cool toys, I've got a cow. I'm gonna put them on my bridge. Oh, I've got a tree. See that? Looks like a tree. So you might have a whole bunch of other little toys that you can do, or you could just do one. Uh-oh, I knocked my cow down. There we go. And I knocked the tree down too. Okay, so now let's see what happens when you make a shadow. Of course, outside, you'll be able to see this shadow right away. Right now, I'm going to turn off the light and make a shadow with my sun flashlight. And let's see what we can do. What will show up? Okay, here comes the sun. Okay. Oh, look, there's a tree. Look, there's a cow. All right, that's very cool. Oh wait, and then, oh, there's the cow, and here comes the horse. So you can do that with any of your toys and make cool shadows. And then what you can do is just take your pencil and start to draw the shapes that you see. I'm gonna draw, oops. Now the sun wouldn't move as fast as my flashlight. I'm having a little trouble holding my flashlight steady and trying to draw the cow at the same time. But outside in the sun, you could get a pretty cool image going on your paper. I just drew a cow by tracing the shadow. So that's really cool to do. So I'm going to do my tree. My tree even has a hole in it like the branches of a regular tree. There, so just trace around the shapes that you make. My flashlight shadow is moving around. But outside in the sun, this is a really fun thing to do. So I hope you get a chance to try that on a sunny day. Okay, the lights are gonna go back on. And my toys, I'll put away my toys for a minute. And then tell you about something else that's fun to do with the sun. So we did a lot of things with shadows. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about light. I made a solar print. I just had a piece of construction paper. Now the construction paper comes in lots of different colors. I used a darker color because the sun has such strong rays, it kind of fades out colors and damages things. You know, it can damage fabrics and eventually it just takes a toll and really bleaches out things. So it'll make a print for you. I have a piece of paper, which was kind of greeny blue and it was dark. And I left it out in the sun for a couple of hours yesterday, but I did something special. Can you see the prints that I made? Okay, I did quite a few shapes on my paper and made a sun print. So I'm taking off the snowflake to see what happened. But there we go. There we go. There's my snowflake. I hope you can see this pretty well. But I have a bag of the things that I used. I just set them out in the sun. Now, here I have my potato masher, and I set that on my page. And I had a little magnet that was shaped like a dog biscuit. I set that on my page. I had a keychain in the shape of a heart. And I just set all of these shapes out. Oh, I had a thread spool that was here. And let's see, what else did I have? Oh, I had a little figure of Bambi. And I think I had a car. And I put all of these shapes out into the sun and let the sun fade the paper, the sun rays, the UV rays of the sun, let it fade the paper, and it made an impression that we can see, and it made prints. So I'm sure that you have lots of interesting things around the house that you can get out and sit out in the sun. And the hardest part is to wait. I just wanted to move my shapes way before it was done, but it was out there for a couple hours. And oh yeah, what I did was I weighted things down with rocks, each corner of my paper with rocks, because I didn't want it to blow away. So that's another thing that you can do with the rays of the sun. That shows what light can do, all kinds. All right, so there's our solar print. Just some simple things, and you can use any interesting things from around your house. Okay, so that was light, and it's very shiny, light, light, light. Now we're going to talk about heat energy from the sun. Here's another thing that you can do. I had a little muffin tray, and I put some things in it to see if the sun's heat would melt them. And you can pick out anything that you like from around your house and make some predictions. I put in a crayon, a rock, a penny, a marble, a Lego, a marshmallow, some cheese. I could put an ice cube in there. I could put a piece of butter in there. Oh, a candle and a penny. But you can pick your own things and then make predictions. Write down the name of what you put in your muffin tin and say, will the sun melt this? Yes or no? And then set it out in this direct sunlight and then wait. That's the hardest part. Keep waiting. And then check it later to see what melted. What do you think? I think let's make a prediction on the cheese. Yes or no? Do you think the cheese will melt? I think yes, because I've made a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches and I know cheese melts really well. And if I had an ice cube today, I would say yes for the ice cube, definitely. But I'm not so sure about a marble and a penny. So you can gather your own items and make your own predictions and have some fun. Okay, so we have one more thing to do. Did you know you can tell the time just by using shadows? This is what we're going to do. We're going to make a sundial. So if you have a paper plate, you can put that out in the sun. And then if you have a piece of Play-Doh, some of the things that I listed to gather ahead of time was a paper plate and some Play-Doh. So I'm rolling up this Play-Doh into a ball, and I'm going to stick it right in the center, near as I can figure. And you can do this outside too, of my paper plate. And that's going to hold a stick or my straw. And what's going to happen? I think this stick will make a shadow. Yep, it does. Can you see the shadow right over here? Right over here. There's that shadow. And I'm going to measure at noon today where that shadow was. Now it's going to be really short at around noon, and I'm going to make a line where that was. And then every 15 minutes, you can set your clock timer for 15 minutes and go out and see where that line moved. You know, remember when the sun moved? then the shadow's going to move. Oops, there we go. As the sun moves in the sky, it's going to move the stick, and you can watch that happen. Now, we're here in the northern hemisphere, so you kind of want to angle your stick towards the north, and you can have an adult help you find north just a little bit, and then it'll be more accurate. And so say this was 12 o'clock, how far is that shadow going to move to maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? And you don't have to do it all in one day, because going outside every 15 minutes or every hour, that kind of takes a lot of time, but it's kind of fun to do. So mark, and then you could put like 12 o'clock, and then let's say the shadow moved over there at 1 o'clock, and then you're going to have a whole sundial. And of course you don't want it to blow away, so take one of those rocks and stick it on there so your sundial won't blow away. So there's our sundial, and we have one last project to do today, and this is the yummiest project. So I'm going to turn my camera back on. I'm going to do a project on this table, and this is the yummy project. This is making s'mores. There's so much heat and light out there from the sun's energy that you can actually cook with it. Do you like s'mores? I certainly do. So what you need for this is a box, and I made a solar oven with my box yesterday. Does this look like it would cook a s'more? Well, it sure did, and it was very yummy. So I'll show you how that we made it. I also had a thermometer, an oven thermometer, and just a regular thermometer, just so I could measure how much heat was going on with this. So I'm going to set this one down and show you guys how to make a s'more. Oh, you're going to have to get some graham crackers and some kind of chocolate and some marshmallows too. But some aluminum foil will make this nice and shiny, and it will collect some heat. So I have a box that looks like this, but if you just have a regular box without a lid, that'll work too. But we're going to show you how to make this one, and watch it. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see better. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is prepare my lid. I need a kind of a big hole in it. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So about 1.5 inches away from the edge, I'm going to draw a line, nice straight line, and another 1.5 inches. Maybe I'm going to use my finger to my first knuckle and draw a straight line over here, all the way to this edge, and like this. Oops, that wasn't a very straight line. And then I'm going to get my scissors, or if you have an adult help you, sometimes it's easier to use a box cutter. But this is what I was doing. I'm going to make a poke into my cardboard, and then I'm going to cut. Because I'm going to cut a lid right through here, all the way across. Now, cutting cardboard is a little tough, but it's doable, and the result is really yummy, because you can cook lots of things in a solar oven, and that's what this is actually going to be. It's a handy-dandy s'more maker. Okay, so I cut it on 3 sides. So here's the regular lid. Here's the lid that I just cut. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my aluminum foil and make, I'm going to line it. So we didn't talk about this, but one of the things that light is good at is reflecting off of surfaces. And of course, aluminum foil is very shiny. So you're going to want to put this shiny side out and cover that little flap that you cut. So there we go. I'm covering the flap. See how nice and shiny that is? Now that's going to kind of reflect the sun rays back down into the box, and that's where the heat is going to collect. So there's the lid right there. So now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to fold that back so it's out of the way for now. I'm going to take a nice big long piece of aluminum foil because it's got to go down inside the box and around the edges. So here it goes. Pretty long. Fit it to your box. Shiniest side up and tuck it down inside your box. There you go. Make it fit along the sides. I did that. And there. Getting shiny in there. Now, if you take a look, it fit up the side of my box here, but I have an empty spot there that is not covered with aluminum foil. So I'm going to take a little strip and don't really have to measure it, just kind of eyeball it and tuck it in the edge of my box that didn't get covered with the original piece of aluminum foil. And every box is a different size. So there we go. See that? It's all covered, nice and shiny. So then, remember there's the flap, and then there's the lid. Now I'm going to put the lid down when we cook our s'mores, like that. I'll put the s'mores in there. Okay, so let's get out the s'mores. And here's what I did. I got my graham crackers and my chocolate and my marshmallows, and I started to build a s'more. And you can do this with a pizza box, you can do this with a shoe box, or you can just do it with an open, shallow box. So what I did was I took my graham cracker, see my graham cracker, and I broke it in half, and I put one down inside my box, and I put two down inside my box, and then I'm going to make two s'mores. So then I had another graham cracker, and I broke it in half, and now I have 4 graham crackers down in there. I'll show you what this looks like with my overhead camera in a minute. But, okay, so then the next thing I did was I put, you usually use Hershey bars, and that's a good thing to use, and it melts, but someone ate my Hershey bar, so I went to the next best couple of things, and I have some chocolate chips. So I put some chocolate chips down on one of my graham crackers, and then I was kind of desperate because somebody ate my Hershey bar and I couldn't use the Hershey bar. And I thought, what else do I have? So some of you might have a Hershey bar, which you could use. And I just happen to have some little baking chocolate chips, big baking chocolate that melt really good for kind of craft yummy kitchen recipes. So I had these bigger chips that I thought I'd use in place of a Hershey bar. So I put those on my graham cracker. And then I thought, I wonder which one is going to melt faster. Should I make another prediction? My Hershey's chips or my big baking chips? Which one going to melt faster or better? I don't know. We'll find out. And so then I thought, okay, well, you need marshmallows. I got the graham crackers. I got the chocolate. So here's the marshmallows. I had some mini marshmallows. Like that. And I put those on the other graham cracker. I'll show you this in the overhead in a sec. And then I had a big marshmallow. So I thought, whoops, with the little marshmallows attached. I had a big marshmallow. So I'm going to put that on the other graham cracker. So now it's time to show you what this looks like. All ready, set to go out in the sun. I'm going to put that on my table and change the camera again. Here we go. And that will show you what I did. There we go. What do you think? The chocolate chips and the bigger chips, or if you had a Hershey bar, which would be bigger, a big marshmallow, and then mini marshmallows. What do you think will melt first or fastest? Make your prediction before you start. Okay, so one other thing to do, and I can do that with this, is I had some saran wrap because I want to trap some heat into my oven. And the saran wrap will trap heat, so I covered just the lid with saran wrap like this, and I taped it down with some tape on each side. And yeah, here's one. So it wouldn't blow up. Like this. Hey, whoops! There's my reflector. The reflector is up. So what I did was I set this whole thing out into the sun, and I faced the sun towards my reflector so it would reflect more light and more heat into my box. Now I'm wiggling my flap, and can you see how it changes the light? It's directing more heat and more light into my box, and it's going to build up some heat. So if you have a thermometer around, you can set that on a table nearby and compare how much heat is going on outside the box. And then if your box is big enough, you could even set it inside. I had an oven thermometer, and I got mine up to 200 yesterday, which was kind of cool. I mean, not cool. It was really hot in there, but I stuck my hand inside just a little bit to see how much heat was building up, and it was nice. It was getting there. So I'm going to come back to the regular camera now, and you can make one of these, and the hardest part is waiting. It took me about 20 minutes or so to melt some of my marshmallows and chocolate. And I had a little accident too. The sun is always moving in the sky, remember that? Well, my table that I set this all out on was shaded eventually, and I went back up to check on my marshmallows, because that was what was taking the longest. My biggest marshmallow took really long, and my table was in the shade, so I moved it onto my deck, the floor of my deck, instead of the table where there was a patch of sun. And a chipmunk came along and knocked the whole shebang all over the place and ate my graham cracker. So I only got to eat one of my s'mores. So hopefully that won't happen to you, and you'll have a yummy treat after all your hard work of building a solar oven. And that's it for today. So lots of suggestions, lots of fun things to do outside in the sun. Take advantage of our solar light and solar heat and energy, and have a great time. That's it for today. Bye.
Well, that's great. So the next time the sun is out, or if you see this today and you get a chance to experience the sunshine, so many cool things that you can do and experience the sun while you're out and having fun. And just remember to watch out for chipmunks.
Yeah.
So if you would like to join us next Friday for First Step Science, we're going to be doing more science explorations. We've got a lot of really cool stuff planned. Come back and join us. We're doing this at 11 o'clock every single Friday. Every Tuesday, we're doing Get Crafty. So we're going to get some crafts out and get messy and create something cool. And every Thursday, we're telling stories, whether they're star stories or rhyming stories or tall tales or stories that we come up with together. We hope that you join us for those. Those are all at 11 o'clock, and you can join us live for those. All you got to do to find the link to join us live or to see the list of things that you can bring so that you can do those activities with us, just go to greatlakeskids.org/news-events, and it's all right there, all kinds of links for everything that we're doing. And if you're interested in keeping programs like this on the air, we can use your donations. Any donation that you're able to give, we're always appreciative. If you want to learn more information about donating, how to do it, where that money goes, just go to greatlakeskids.org/donate. You can find all kinds of information there. So that's it for us. We hope that you have fun out there in the sunshine. We hope to see you next time. And until then, we'll say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.